Spirit Man Universe presents Supernatural Couple Defends Earth from the Dragon Lord. The hum of the centrifuges was a familiar lullaby to Jon and Faith. Their lab, tucked away in a discreet industrial park, was a sanctuary of scientific pursuit. For years they'd poured their lives into Project Chimera, a clandestine endeavor to unlock humanity's latent potential through advanced genetic manipulation. Tonight, however, was different. Tonight, they were on the precipice of a breakthrough that would redefine not just human capability, but existence itself. "The final sequence is stabilizing, Jon." Faith's voice, usually calm and measured, held a tremor of excitement. She adjusted a dial, her eyes glued to the complex readouts on the monitor. "If this works, if we've truly cracked the code..." Jon leaned closer, his own heart pounding a frantic rhythm against his ribs. "It will, Faith. All the simulations, all the trials. This is it. Immortality. Not just extended life, but true, unyielding, regenerative immortality." He watched as a shimmering iridescent liquid pulsed within a sealed vial, the culmination of their genius. Suddenly, the ground outside vibrated with a guttural roar. Alarms blared, red emergency lights strove to cut through the sterile white of the lab. "What was that?" Faith's head snapped up, her scientific curiosity momentarily eclipsed by fear. "Intrusion," Jon stated, his voice grim. The reinforced steel door of their lab buckled inward with a deafening crash. Silhouetted against the fiery orange glow that now painted the hallway were figures clad in tactical gear, weapons raised. "Dragon Lord's mercenaries," Jon breathed, recognizing the insignia on their uniforms. He'd heard whispers of this ruthless private military force, rumored to be backed by shadowy global powers who sought to weaponize any significant scientific discovery. "They're here for Chimera." "We can't let them have it," Faith said, her eyes hardening. She grabbed a heavy metal canister. "We've worked too hard. This is too important." The mercenaries advanced, their boots crunching on shattered glass. "Surrender the formula," a gruff voice boomed, "or face annihilation." Jon looked at Faith, a silent understanding passing between them. They were scientists, not soldiers, but they were also partners, a formidable unit in every sense. "There's only one way to keep it out of their hands," Jon said, his gaze fixed on the vial of Chimera. With a desperate surge, they moved towards the central containment unit. The mercenaries opened fire. Bullets whizzed past, ricocheting off metal surfaces. The lab became a chaotic dance of scientific equipment and deadly projectiles. "Jon, the fail-safe!" Faith yelled, shoving him towards the main console. In a split second, Jon activated the emergency containment override. The vial of Chimera, designed to be incredibly stable, was now exposed to an uncontrolled surge of energy from the lab's primary power core. The iridescent liquid began to boil, to expand, to crackle with an unearthly light. The mercenaries, seeing their objective about to be destroyed, redoubled their efforts. They charged, intent on seizing whatever remained. But as they reached the containment unit, the vial exploded. It wasn't a violent detonation, but an implosion of pure energy. A wave of shimmering liquid light washed over Jon and Faith. They screamed, not in pain, but in a sensation that was both agonizing and ecstatically transformative. Their very cells felt like they were being rewritten, infused with the potent essence of Project Chimera. The mercenaries caught in the wave fared far worse. Their tactical gear dissolved, their bodies contorted, and then they simply ceased to be. They were erased, their molecules scattered by the overwhelming power. When the lights subsided, the lab was a wreck. Smoke curled from burning equipment and the air thrummed with residual energy. Jon and Faith stood amidst the devastation, their bodies glowing faintly, their eyes alight with a newfound power. Jon reached out, his hand phasing through a mangled piece of metal as if it were mist. He looked at his wife, and saw the same impossible phenomenon in her. "Faith, we did it," he whispered, his voice echoing with a new resonance. Faith touched her arm, her fingers leaving a faint, shimmering trail. "We didn't just create immortality, Jon. We became it." But their newfound power was not just for them. The raw energy of the exploded Chimera had seeped into the very fabric of the lab and beyond. The world outside, oblivious to the battle that had just taken place, was about to feel the ripple effect. A guttural roar, far more powerful than any that had preceded it, shook the foundations of the building. The mercenaries had been mere pawns. The true threat, the one they had inadvertently unleashed by absorbing the formula, was far more ancient and terrible. From the heavens, a colossal shadow fell. A dragon, scales like obsidian and eyes burning with infernal fire, descended. This was the Dragon Lord, a cosmic entity of destruction, a being whose existence was tied to the very disruption of natural order that Project Chimera represented. He had sensed the surge of power, and he had come to claim it, or to extinguish its source. Jon and Faith, their bodies now humming with an energy that dwarfed anything they had ever imagined, looked up at the behemoth. Fear was a distant memory, replaced by a fierce, protective instinct. They had created life-altering science, and now they were its guardians. "He thinks he can take what's ours," Faith said, her voice a low growl. "He thinks he can take our world." Jon nodded, his eyes locking with the Dragon Lord's fiery gaze. "Then we'll show him what happens when you try to steal from humanity's future." They stepped out of the ruined lab, their silhouettes against the inferno of the Dragon Lord's descent. They were no longer just geneticists. They were something more. They were the embodiment of their own creation, the supernatural couple ready to defend their Earth from the cosmic threat. The battle began. Jon and Faith, fueled by the potent essence of Project Chimera, moved with impossible speed and strength. They dodged fire breath that could melt steel, their bodies regenerating from impacts that would have vaporized any ordinary human. They unleashed blasts of pure energy, their movements guided by an instinct born from their transformed DNA. The Dragon Lord, a creature of immense power, found himself facing an unexpected resistance. His attacks, designed to obliterate entire civilizations, were met with a force that absorbed, redirected, and amplified. Jon and Faith fought as one, their genetic enhancements creating a symbiotic synergy that made them an unstoppable force. Faith, with her enhanced intellect, analyzed the Dragon Lord's attack patterns, predicting his every move. Jon, with his amplified physical prowess, met each onslaught with a counterforce that chipped away at the dragon's cosmic might. They were a whirlwind of light and fury, a testament to the power of human ingenuity and the unexpected gifts of their own creation. The fight raged across the sky, a spectacle of cosmic proportions visible to the few who dared to look up. The Dragon Lord, accustomed to unchallenged dominion, began to falter. He had never encountered beings who could match his power, let alone surpass it. In a final desperate move, Jon and Faith combined their energies. They focused the raw, untamed power of Project Chimera into a single devastating beam. It was the culmination of their scientific pursuit, the ultimate expression of their transformed beings. The beam struck the Dragon Lord, not with a destructive explosion, but with an overwhelming infusion of pure, ordered energy. The dragon's chaotic essence, unable to withstand the perfect harmony of the Chimera formula, began to unravel. His roars of fury turned to whimpers of dissolution. With a final blinding flash, the Dragon Lord was no more. His cosmic form dissipated, leaving only a faint shimmer in the sky. The world, unaware of the monumental battle that had just saved it, continued on. Jon and Faith descended, landing gently on the scorched earth. They looked at each other, their faces etched with exhaustion, but also with a profound sense of peace. They had saved their world, not just from a dragon, but from the very forces that sought to exploit and control their discoveries. "We did it," Faith whispered, leaning into Jon. "We did," Jon replied, his arm around her. "And now, we have a world to protect." They were no longer just Jon and Faith, the brilliant geneticists. They were the supernatural couple, the guardians of humanity, forever bound by their creation and their courage. The era of the Dragon Lord was over. The era of the supernatural couple had just begun. And now, the Spirit Man universe introduces Jon and his wife Faith, the supernatural couple, to the world. The legacy of the Spirit Man universe just expanded with a new couple who are more than ready to defeat all evil entities and maintain the balance and peace on the Earth realm. Stay tuned for more supernatural adventures with Jon and Faith. Thanks for listening and your continued support. Please like, subscribe, and visit GeraldDukesBooks.com to support Gerald Duke's work by buying his books, music, liking, and subscribing to his supernatural storytelling videos. Now, to thank you all for watching the new storytelling adventure, author Gerald Dukes has prepared a new exclusive instrumental music beat just for you all called Embrace Life. Enjoy, and again, thanks for your support, and we will see you soon.